Welcome to the World of Warships with Captain Yamo. I am your host, Captain Yamo, and this is the Tier 5 American Battleship, the New York. This video is going to be the last dance in the New York for me. After this, I would have enough XP to buy the New Mexico, which I am working on the review for later release. So, the New York. I know some people don't like the New York as much, but I think it's still a pretty strong ship. It's no Congo, you know, it's a lot slower. You get up to about 20 knots. The Congo, you can get up to about 29 knots. But it's a strong ship. It's got great armor and a lot of turrets. I personally like having more turrets with than fewer turrets. I like the options of taking more shots at targets. Even when you're doing lazy-eyed gunnery, you know, it's good to have a second attempt. Stargazer, huh? Zio ship. And what happens in this match right off the bat is many of the ships in the north start heading towards the south. I'm going to take some shots on Pig 27 here. And I believe we're going to be missing quite a bit here. I was not patient enough and thought I had the lead on it proper. And so, miss, and miss. Yeah, I didn't mind the New York. The slow speed and all that other stuff aside, great armor and pretty maneuverable. It has a pretty heavy rudder shift time. I think it's in the close to 20 seconds. Oh, changing the aim. Look at that. There's major bend over in the Congo. If you look at that Congo, you can see that it is not fully upgraded. In fact, he probably hasn't upgraded it at all. So that's a perfect time for a New York to run into a Congo. We get a glancing shot there. We don't do any real damage. But we're just about at the maximum range of the New York. Goes so full salvo. Look at that. We got the Matsuki over there, a Gundam, lurking over there to the north. And I noticed him over there. And fortunately, my Congo Coyote 720 there is going to be his primary target to begin with. And so I'm not as worried about torpedoes coming from him yet. But it becomes important, especially when you're in a battleship, to notice your mini-map. You got to notice where your enemy destroyers are. So we got that guy there. And see, there's some torpedoes coming from him. And it's also helpful to know the reload time of the enemy destroyers, because it will allow you to maximize your positioning. Okay, so there you have Victorio 55 or whatever the heck his name is in the New Mexico, and you'll see that the guns on the New York are no joke. Or at least Victorio will see. Oh, 53. Victorio 53. Watch this hit. $1,000, 8,858, 6,798. That was on 6 hits. There's the Matsuki. And notice now that I'm pulling in front of the Congo, my team's Congo. So I'm starting to become a valid target for that Matsuki. Or a likely target is the better way. I was always a valid target for him, right? Because if I was in the Matsuki, I would be spreading my shots so that they covered both the new my Congo and myself. I would be trying to make sure that my shots would endanger both. And he got the Congo. beating the hell out of this New Mexico. And now Coyote 720 is going to be asking for help. We get our first enemy sunk. But come on, Coyote, you know that DD is out there. It would be nice to have some destroyer to support for it, but we don't. You gotta make do with what you got. That's one of those areas where I'm really trying to change the way I think about playing these games. There we go. There's a nice meaty hit, little tickle shot. 11,000 points of damage. It was 10,500 for the Citadel, and then, you know, the rest was on the other shot that hit. Wait for him to turn, get that angle, get his ship turned around, get a good solid shot into him, and that problem is gone. So now if you look at, you'll see I'm speeding up and turning hard to port. It's not just so I can shoot at the Congo, it's because I know that there are going to be torpedoes in the water. The Matsuki's reload is about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and there they come. Of course, I only spot 2 torpedoes, so I wonder... I think the Isakaze is in the south, and the Farragut's up here, but that was probably from the Matsuki. Yeah, see, there's the Matsuki. And keep an eye on my compass rose and on my speed. You'll see I keep tailing it back and then shooting forward and tailing it back. Well, shooting forward in a I don't know how many 100,000 ton ship. Because my rudder was over to the right, I knew I was going to take one of these torpedoes. I kind of resigned myself to it and thought I'd give the Matsuki a little taste of anger. And the good thing about taking that torpedo where I did, I let him hit center of my ship where the armor is the thickest. I'll have the armor belt there basically prevented that from causing any flooding. If you got to take a torpedo and you can make them hit you where you want to, that's the spot. Dead center. Of course, you then run the risk of, getting a magazine detonation. Nice solid shot, good dispersion. Another great shot. 8,000 points of damage, I'll take it. And look at my speed. I'm down to I'm losing speed. I'm under 10 knots now. And turning drastically. These are all the things that you got to do in a battleship in order to prevent yourself from being sunk by destroyers. It doesn't always work, but you got to do what you can. And I thought about shooting that Farragut, but what I like to do in a situation like this, in the Phoenix or something like that, if I can, I'll close on an enemy ship that isn't really paying attention to me, and I'll try and sink some torpedoes into him or something sneaky like that. And he's gone. I could have easily killed him, given a few seconds of time. Now the Farragut's underway. They're a harder target, but you learn your lead, and you can have results like that. I'm back up to almost full speed, and I'm going to be turning again here. Remember, we got the Matsuki out here. Sneaky little destroyer bastards. There she is again, right after I fired off, because at under 7 kilometers, I can almost guarantee a kill if I got 3 or more shots on a destroyer. Give him a little too much lead, but nick him. And here comes some more torpedoes. Now watch this. You got to change the way you drive when you know you're being shot at. It makes it harder for them to predict you. You see he's got a tight spread. I would have gone with a wide spread personally if I was him. But then again, I mean, that's I don't know. If you put a widespread, it might have been easier to sail through them, you know? Now, with him under 4,000 health, I thought I had him there, but clearly I missed pretty badly. Which should be a hint for you if you're in a ship and you're going away from someone who is definitely working on sinking you. That's when you can change your speed, and they can't tell how fast you're going. I nick him. I do a little bit of damage. But now I'm dropping my speed again and turning for that Matsuki. She's got to be firing at me again pretty soon, right? So I take a rush shot over there at the Congo and nick him again. It'd have been nice to sink him. Excuse me. So after I post this, The Last Dance in the New York here, I'll be moving on to the New Mexico review, which looks like it's going to be kind of a slightly longer one. I'm going to have a little review where I go over some of its stats and whatever else, and then I will be showing some gameplay. Here I am trying to tell my team where I think the Matsuki is hiding from me. Gunned him. And I knew taking my guns and turning the ship around like that would totally throw off whatever torpedoes he had fired at me. But I was also doing it because of the other enemy battleship. You know, maybe I need to swing my guns over and start heading south so I can take shots on that guy. And then slowly, like a boxer cutting off the ring. Okay, there's my speed down to 11 knots, going and dropping. Like a boxer trying to cut off the ring. And I don't know why I hadn't it took me that long to turn and start firing at him, but I'm trying to make him run out of room. And that's, you know, these are all things you got to do. And there you go. And so there you have it. We had 226,000 credits, 2,568 XP, 4 sunk, 1 tickle shot, 37 hits. We had 1,700 base XP in this match. That's great in a tier 6 or under match. That's a great amount of XP. We did 70,000 points of damage, I believe, and took about 20,000. There you go, 65,000 points of damage. Had a great match. Hit a lot of enemy ships, you know, hit ships of all types, including destroyers, which are very difficult for battleship pilots. You know, jumped a lot of torpedoes, made 210,000 credits. And I'd like to thank you for joining me on World of Warships with Captain Yamo, and I hope to see you on the digital high seas.